What's up, boys and girls? It's your boy Johnny, aka Crew 90, and today we're going to talk about assumptions that people might have about being an amputee. So, for example, one very common assumption that everybody seems to have about me, and I can only guess that it has to be because I'm an amputee, is that I have a very, very big penis.
I think it's pronounced Crew 90.
Alright, so a little over a week ago, I put a call to action on the community tab of my YouTube channel, and I asked that people would leave replies with assumptions that they have about being an amputee. So I got quite a lot of responses, and I want to go ahead and I'm going to read them, and we're going to talk about which ones are accurate and which ones are not accurate, and just discuss each of these assumptions that people have had. So I haven't actually read all of them yet. I've read a few of them, and they're so far pretty good. But a lot of these, the very first time I ever read them is going to be right now. So let's just get right into it. So what I wrote was, what are some assumptions that you have about being an amputee? So Nicholas said that, that you have to dress up as a pirate every Halloween. Well, okay. So it's not like a law. You don't have to do it. But yes, almost every amputee that I've ever known has in fact dressed up like a pirate at one point or another. So yeah, good one. Another assumption, that you have to buy both shoes. Okay, you do still have to buy both shoes, but this is a very interesting, this opens up a whole can of worms right here. So, okay, me, myself personally, I use a prosthetic leg, so I still use both shoes. So for me, of course, I have to buy the full pair. But if you're in a wheelchair, or maybe you just use crutches, you don't have a prosthetic, then you do still have to buy both shoes, but you don't need both shoes. Like if you're missing your right leg like I am, you wouldn't need your right shoe. Well, there are actually community sites out there where amputees can get together and they can trade their shoes. So if you have a right shoe that you don't need, but somebody else has a left shoe that they don't need and you guys are the same size, you can actually trade your shoes. And there's several of these websites available online that I've come across. Plus there's just community pages on Facebook that amputees use to do this. So there's that. Also though, running shoes. When I run, I don't run in my regular prosthetic. I have a running blade and it's kind of like this, and it doesn't have like a foot, so you don't wear a shoe with it. It's got motorcycle tread built onto the bottom of it, like a tire from a motorcycle, and you don't wear a shoe. So what would I ever do with my running shoe, unless, like my right running shoe, unless I went on one of these trade places? Well, Nike actually has a phone number that you can call. You can just Google it and you can get the phone number. And if you call them and tell them you're an amputee, they will send you one shoe for whatever foot you do have. That way you don't have to go out and buy a pair of running shoes. So I've actually done that twice. You just call Nike, I tell them I'm missing my right leg, I tell them that my left foot is a size 10, and then they send me a completely free, they even cover shipping, running shoe, size 10. And that's what I use when I go running. So that's pretty cool. All right, DJ Queen T says you get 50% off of pedicures. So interestingly enough, this is actually not true. Now, I'm sure somewhere out there there's a nail salon that does this, but I thought it would be funny. Right after I lost my leg, I had probably had my prosthetic for maybe like 2 months, and thought it would be funny to go into a nail salon and ask them if I could get 50% off, and I was shocked when they said no. So the way that they did it was you pay full price, no discount, you get your one flesh and blood foot pedicured, and then you get a certificate to come back at a later date to get that same foot pedicured again. So technically, I mean, you're getting to come back twice, but you only have to pay the one time, but you're still paying full price. They don't give you an actual 50% off discount and just send you on your way. So that was interesting, and I thought, no, that's just gotta be them. My local mall actually has 2 nail salons in it. So I went to the other nail salon and I asked them the same question, and they do the same thing. Now it's possible that they just both do that so that they're not competing with each other. But either way, I was very surprised. Now I've never gone to any other nail salon, so I don't know, maybe actually this is how it works. But in my experience, personally, you do not get 50% off. It's very interesting to me. Matt says, everyone mentions it. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe how many times people just walk up to me out of the blue and ask me, hey, how'd you lose your leg? And, okay, I don't want to imply that it bothers me when people do that, but bear with me. Okay, so if you're another amputee and you walk up to me and just start asking me about my prosthetic or how I lost my leg, I'm totally cool with it. I will talk to you for an hour. I don't even care. But, like, not to say that I'm bothered if you're a fully able-bodied person and you approach me, but it just is a little different when somebody with both of their legs just walks up to me and just starts asking me how I lost my leg. Like, you wouldn't walk up to a blind guy and just be like, yeah, man, so when did you stop seeing? But people walk up to people with missing legs and they'll be like, how'd you lose your leg? I'm sure if you're missing an arm or something, it's probably the same. I can't believe it though. It happens all the time. I was out with my girlfriend not that long ago and somebody approached me and I told her, like, this is just another regular day of my life. Like, people walk up to you. And so, yeah, everybody does mention it. I mean, I would say probably 50% of the time that I go out, I have at least one person walk up to me. If I'm out for a good substantial amount of time. If I just run to the store or something, then maybe not. But like if I go out for the day, at least one person will walk up to me throughout the course of that day. Rios says that it can be used during sex as an extra toy. Okay, so story time. I personally have never used my residual limb, my stump, as a sex toy, but I have had a girlfriend ask me if I ever had, and when I said that I hadn't, she then asked me if I thought maybe I ever would, and I was like, why? Do you want to do that or something? And she was like, I don't know, I'm just asking, just making conversation. I think that she wants, I don't know, I think that she wanted to experience something like that. It was very interesting. We never talked about it after that, but I really think in the moment that she was asking me, I think that she wanted to. So it was very, very interesting. Daniel says, doing physical exercises like sports would be really hard or practically impossible. Okay. Practically impossible, not an accurate assumption. I mean, maybe if there's like the sport is specifically, you have to have two legs, then maybe. But even then, with the prosthetic, I mean, I would really be hard-pressed to say that there's any sports that are physically or practically impossible. But being really hard, yes. Okay, I'm a runner. I used to run a lot before I lost my leg. I almost feel bad calling myself a runner now because I don't do it very often anymore. But actually, the night before the day when I lost my leg, because I lost my leg at night, but like I lost my leg on a Friday night, Thursday night, I went out for a run. That's just what I do, or what I did. I used to run like multiple miles. I would run like 1 or 2 miles in the morning before I would go to school. Then I would run like 4 or 5 miles at night before I went to bed. By the time I lost my leg, I was 20, but I was still running avidly. I did 5Ks, I did 10Ks. I run still, even after I lost my leg. I have 2 videos up on YouTube of me running. Not the same, man. Not the same. It is so much more physically taxing. And, I mean, no matter how hard I try, I have not gotten back to my time. I mean, I used to run a 5K in 21 minutes. Like, now, I'm lucky if I finish under 30. Well, I actually did. I finished my first 5K in 10 seconds shy of 30 minutes. And, I mean, and that took everything out of me. So that's that. I mean, I rock climb, I go hiking, I bike. All of these activities, they're still fun, but they are so much more strenuous than they used to be. And it's purely because I'm only really using one leg to do them. And then using the prosthetic leg requires other muscles that you don't normally have to fire during these particular activities. So, yeah, man, that's definitely a very accurate assumption. Abstract art. They can feel their phantom limb. Yes, I feel my phantom limb at least like 10 times a day. I'll get an itch. There's obviously nothing there to scratch. I'll just randomly feel like my toes curled, like my toes are like crossing each other or something. I'm trying to think off the top of my head on the spot. I can't think of actual specific things, but numerous times throughout the day, I will get a sensation that my limb is still there. So yes, you totally feel your phantom limb. Blaze says, you think everyone notices? That kind of goes hand in hand with everyone mentions it. So I'm going to say, yes, this is an accurate assumption because even if only like a fraction of the people that notice it mention it, then based on how many people mention it, I mean, obviously then so many people notice it. But the thing is, I actually see people notice it. I can walk through like a busy, I don't know, we'll say like at the grocery store, I walk up a busy aisle and I can physically see people do a quick glance, which is fine. I mean, naturally, if you see something that you're not used to seeing, your eyes are naturally going to look at it to see what you just saw. It's only when people stare, which then is usually only children, and I don't mind when children stare because A, they don't really know better, and B, they're very curious. But like, yeah, when I'm out somewhere, like I was at the mall and there was a field trip, and I don't really know why kids went on a field trip to the mall. I'm not sure what field trip that was, or maybe they just stopped there for food. But I had to walk by like 30 children, and I was like, okay, here we go, because I was in shorts and I knew it. And sure enough, man, as they walked by them, every kid was looking. Some of them were pointing. I could hear people like, hey, look at his leg, look at his leg. And I mean, while I'm not upset at them, they're children. At the same time, it does put you on blast, and you're like, you feel like a spotlight's on you. So yeah, definitely an accurate assumption. GD says, okay, so he's not leaving an assumption, he's just leaving me a comment. 911 call for the win. He just left several quotes from my 911 call. Gotcha Dreamscape says, it's very hard to adjust because you can't do things you want like in the past. So, sort of a good assumption. I mean, yes, I can still do things that I want, but I can't do them in the way that I used to do them. Hence, like I was saying with the sports. I can still run, I can still rock climb, I can still do all these things, but it's not as enjoyable. I don't want to say it's not enjoyable at all, but it's just not as enjoyable because it's much more physically tolling on my body. So, yes, that is very accurate. TF says, you feel more conscious of your body. Yes, I am constantly aware of the fact that I am an amputee. One of the very first times that I ever entered the bedroom with a female, I will be very aware of the fact that I'm an amputee. Now, if she's known me long enough to have figured that out already or something, then obviously it's not a big deal. But if this is like a hookup, a one-night stand, or just somebody I haven't been talking to very long, and they don't know like specifically that I'm missing a leg, it's kind of like an awkward thing to me because like I'm very conscious of it. What are they gonna say? Are they gonna react? Like most guys are just worried, I'm gonna take my pants off and are they gonna be impressed? I'm worrying I'm gonna take my pants off and is she gonna freak out over the fact that I only have one leg? Like this phrase has a totally different meaning in this context, but like I'm gonna whip it out and what's she gonna do? And so that's that, and that's only one aspect of it. But yeah, like I'm very conscious of my prosthetic, of the fact that I'm missing a leg in general, and just how it affects day-to-day life. That's a very good one. You can get a badass metal leg. Very accurate assumption because I have a badass metal leg. Mine is beautiful. I don't think I can show it to you right now because I'm wearing it, but it's got roses on it and it's pretty cool. I really like it. Lemonade said tightrope walking. I don't know what the assumption here is. The assumption is that I can't tightrope walk. I probably can't, but that's not because I'm an amputee. That's just because I don't think I could have even before I lost my leg. Or the assumption is that you still can tightrope walk. I don't know. Maybe there is some amputees out there that do that. I don't know, Lemonade. You got me very confused right now. So let's move on to Lauren says it's heavy to walk around with. Yes. Okay. My prosthetic is supposed to weigh roughly the same amount that my flesh and blood leg weighed when I still had it. And to that extent, I'm sure it does. I know, though, that it weighs roughly 12.5 pounds. I'm assuming based on the muscles and just the bone, all the blood, everything, the fat, skin itself, like I would assume that the amount of leg that I lost probably did weigh about 12.5 pounds. So it's probably relatively accurate, within a pound or so, give or take. But that's heavy, dude. You're trying to swing an entire prosthetic with the little bit of thigh muscle that I have left, because I mean, I only have from like 4 inches below my knee up. So like just the muscles in my upper thigh, basically, and my hip are what, I mean, I don't know if there's muscles in my hip, but like that's what's swinging my prosthetic. It's heavy. Walking around all day, your leg gets sore from swinging that prosthetic. And even in like one of my most recent videos, I did the amputee balance test. You can see that while I had no problem balancing on my actual flesh and blood leg and like doing that, after like a minute into it though, in order to balance on that leg, I was holding my prosthetic leg up, like I wasn't standing on both of my legs. I was getting tired. That prosthetic leg weighs a lot. By like 5 minutes in, I was using my arm, my hands and like even my arms to physically hold my prosthetic up. And I never even thought, oh, let me just take it off. I spent 15 minutes just holding my prosthetic up in the air using nothing but my remaining bit of legs muscles. Dude, that prosthetic is heavy, man. All right. Crazy Life of Kimber and Addie said that even though you don't have that body part, you still have ghost pain from it. Okay, so ghost pain, phantom pain, but yes, and this goes hand in hand with phantom sensations. I actually made 2 videos. One is titled Phantom Sensations and one is titled Phantom Pain. Check those both out. They're very good videos. I don't just say that because they're mine, but they're very good videos because they explain properly that phantom pain and phantom sensation are not the same things. They're not interchangeable. And so, yes, I do have ghost phantom pain from it all the time on a regular basis. I just, oh man, and you know, the weird thing is, this is coincidentally a good assumption because for the last 2 weeks, I've been having more phantom pain than I think I had all of 2019 combined. And I was really hoping I wouldn't go into 2020 with phantom pain, like at the level that it's been lately, but it's still there. I'm having a lot of phantom pain lately. So yes, that's a very good assumption. I got, it feels good that you don't have to go through the worry of when you will stub your toes next. Okay, well, I didn't really worry about that too much to begin with, but yes, technically, if that was something that I worried about a lot, I guess it would be good that I don't really have to worry about that too much. We are forgetting one thing though. I still have 5 other toes, so I would still have to worry about it. Just maybe not as much. Aurora Sewell says, your foot still hurts even though it's not there anymore, like phantom pains. And is it hard to walk with a prosthetic leg? So, we just discussed the phantom pains, but we'll talk about the assumption that it's hard to walk with the prosthetic leg. I don't want to say it's hard, but it was definitely a new experience for me. So now I'm not going to discredit some amputees. It really is hard. They go through years of physical therapy, relearning how to walk. And I was blessed enough that I didn't have that issue. I pretty much, not even pretty much, I literally put the prosthetic on, stood up and walked. To the point that my prosthetist, as well as several of the other people in the room, all kind of jumped to grab me because they thought I was going to fall over. But I just walked, and then I wore my prosthetic all day for the rest of that day. I have never really had an issue with it. I have had to overcome a horrible limp, but that was about it. As far as it being hard to walk, for me, my personal experience, honestly, the hardest part was just walking naturally. I walked like it was a prosthetic when I needed to walk like it was my leg. And I will never forget, I walked very robotically and mechanically for a little while, and it wasn't until, I don't remember if it was my prosthetist or a fellow amputee at the prosthesis office, I'm not sure, but somebody said to me, stop walking like it's a prosthetic and walk like it's your leg. And when they said that, it just kind of clicked in my head, and I started walking much more naturally. So, and then the last one is from Faith, and this is not an assumption, it is a comment. And I appreciate it, Faith, and I have read this one actually already. So I appreciate that. I appreciate your comment. So there you go. There are several assumptions right there that people have about being an amputee, and a lot of them are very accurate. Some of them were a little off base, but there you go. So if anybody watching this video has any assumptions about being an amputee, I'd love for you to leave them in the comments. I will be active in the comments for a very long time. I tend to reply to things that people comment on my videos. So if you comment an assumption you have, I will reply to you and let you know whether it's accurate or not. And otherwise, you know, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. As always, it's your boy Johnny, aka Crew 90, and I'll catch you next time.